从南极，如来偏修三界这盘修三界求道从你。从那拉强求班的当你下不是大给人所一别从南极。如来培修三界这盘修三界求道从你从那来强求盘的当你下世间。大给人所一别从南极，如来偏修三界这盘修玛南嘎当年贝sem che tham che deva na devi Judo Dember Semche Tamche Dungar Dungar Judo Terror Semche Tamche Dungar maybe Dewa Damba no Mamdra War Semche Tamche Yera Chadani Johnny Jason Corda Ancandro Mambo Cora Jason Dadonji Chin Love Shas Guru Pema Sandi Pobjam Nana Tuso Sanji Kunji Ango 줄고 원서 돈제 비사회 라마 남라 소와 노안데 수저 매도 자르라 렘지 원여대 젠바 sonji jande mide bhuva jogu namda jangla shumbar shu edam guru rana mandala Kamdurya daya mu semjim namji samba nanda loy semda cherta 제조 데모 템바 주지 콜로 곤드 소 닝제 심보 주된 닝미자 존님 몰름 심보 압제다 바커다는 온 산누신 Tumba Tuje Chala Kujan Sar Origin Solam Pami Tumboli Jerry Namjo Rajan Lenji and Sanzo Jayon Dance Eman Johnny Dalu Penso Kunzan Dursim Garo Hirsa Pamagaran Jambanyushunga Sozor Namnya Tirtun Jersas Katri lama nangla kushan sa kandap shochu tonggunji tena desan lomar kirwa kansa ta tandar tumbi shuji sherme sembrando ba deda thamche darsha shi namo arya dambal hai gedang la dando shenke chum da nami kanam da ro kunji jerke chi thamche gad chujang thujur chi. Okay, so prayer. The four immeasurable bodhicitta, on English, 3 times only. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. Okay, so we further go into explanations about the advice for the drops of advice from my heart by Kyabje Khenchen Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche's text. So this teaching can divide into these three great outlines: virtues of beginning, virtues of main part, and the virtues of the end. So we having gone the first part of the virtues of beginning. So now we are going on the second stage, the virtues of the main part. So these again can divide into there's another two stages, which is the general stage and the particular stage. So we having gone the first, the general stage. So now we are on the second, the particular stages. So the explanation, the particular stages again, we can divide it into their another two stages, which is the preliminary stage and the actual stage. So now we are going on the start, the first one, the preliminary stage of the path of Dharma. So the preliminary stage again is we can divide it into the another two stages, which is the external of the common, the ordinary preliminary stages, and internal uncommon extraordinary preliminary stages. So now we are on the first one, the external, the common ordinary preliminary stage. These again we can divide into there are four stages, which is the four thoughts mind training. So the first one, the 10th verse, let's we see. This physical existence is difficult to find, like autumnal flowers, yet more rewarding than the discovery of million precious gems. To find an opportunity like this again in the future will be difficult indeed. So don't let it pass without accomplishing the highest of all aims. So this is also one of the common preliminary the prejudice, as you know, sense of Hinayana traditions up to of Mahayana, both of Sutra and Tantra practitioners, very important practitioners, mind train on this, how difficult to obtain of the precious of a human birth. This physical existence of difficult to find. Like Atumbara flower. So in this way, know how difficult to find this precious human body. There's many reasons, but one is important is the substantial cause and the condition, which is the morality, the discipline, having the discipline, the morality, the conduct, non-violence conduct during the many lifetimes, over and over accumulated of lots of merits and less of the non-merits, misdeed karma. And then it's not only on top, it was enough the aspiration, prayer, again and again for future freedom, lower realms, and the reborn higher fortune realm. These two is the substantial cause and condition for reborn higher and the fortune of the human realm. That's also we need to thinking. We're not just born in this human realm badly automatically and badly causelessly. This result, the fortunate of a human birth is as a depend to the similar cause and similar condition. So that's one reason. And then also is on the example Buddha gave us Like, as you know, there's many examples, but one very common, oftenly is used, has to be used examples, the one that blindness, the blind turtle remains in the bottom of the ocean, and only once after of 100 years appears, and then again disappear. So this is the example. And then on the roof of this, the top of the ocean, the whip with the yoke, one wooden yoke with one hole. So, and then the question is, would you think it is possible the turtle's neck can be penetrated into of these, the hole of the yoke, the wooden yoke? But actually that's difficult to say possible, but also maybe it's possible, but very rare, very difficult. This is the example Buddha's from Sutra, and also Nagarjuna's the commentary. The reason with this example, first we need to understand the turtle every day if it comes out, and then is more chance possibilities, but the examples on 100 years after only one time comes out. That is more difficult, right? And then is this the turtle also can have the eyes, not blind, and then they have chance more because it can see, but is this example, the turtle is blind, and therefore more rare, more difficult to find of the yoke, and that's and then is the third aspect of difficulties. If the turtle have motivation to find the whole of the yoke, but then it's possible, but they have no any motivation to find the yoke, That's from the turtle. And then from the yoke, the wooden yoke, also is this stability, one's place always remaining same place and then chance more, but not. That's the whip from on the ocean. As a whip, east, south, north direction, everywhere movements is moving. Therefore more difficult. And then also the yoke with the consciousness to wed, wedding to comes of the turtle's neck, but there's no motive. This is just materiality. So non-consciousness, But still, if accidentally, if possible, penetrate into the whole of the turtle's neck is penetrate into the whole of this yoke. So likewise, is we need to understand this precious human body to find more difficult than the turtle's neck penetrate into of the yoke, the whole of the yoke more. So like this way, this is the truth, Buddha's omniscience, how to understand the difficult to obtain this precious human body. So we are fortunately, we are luckily, in the moments we found this precious human body hard to find. And then another also is you need to thinking, training your mind is the number, compare between of a low unfortunate realm beings number and between of the upper fortune, especially in the precious human beings. Buddha gave an example. The number is like the low realm beings, the number is very large, like the atoms of the earth, like these numbers, loads, countless beings could be. And the upper realm, especially the precious human birth, is very rare. The number is very rarity, like more rare than the dusty on the fingernails, like this small number. But this means is if we are lucky, we are fortunately not falling the large number. We found hard to find the tiny number, small numbers like the dusty on the fingernail like this, we found in this precious human body. So like this way, you should trust Buddha's explanations and from the nature law, cause and effect, karma of cause and effect. And then if you could trusting this precious human body is how wonderful, how fortunate, but how difficult to obtain a precious human body. But once chance opportunity, if you found, and then you should to do meaningful. You should not waste this precious human body because this not chance comes again and again. If this time, if we're wasting about the meaning of the essential point of this precious human body, and then there's no chance much, easily again comes. So therefore, like this way, and then especially not all the human beings, particularly is within the 8 freedoms, the qualities with the 10 endowments, as total is 18 qualities. This is more precious and more rarity than to find the wish fulfilling jewel. Says in that historical, the wish fulfilling jewel, very expensive, very precious, but very rare, not easy to find, not easy to get if you lack merits then. Even if found, but not easy to recognize, even recognized, but not easy to know how to use. And finally, will bring the fulfillment, but the temporary benefit, but cannot bring the ultimate benefit. That's the wish fulfilling jewel. But this precious, our human birth is more precious and more rarity than of the wish fulfilling jewel, but more powerful than wish fulfilling jewel. Because this precious human body can be benefit not only for you, not only for others of this life alone, but on top can benefit for future and final enlightenment, as possibilities in Sangha life, if you are a fortunate person. So therefore, we should not wasting, this precious, the essence of the meaning of the precious body. So that's why it's important. We need to meditate again and again. That's one thing. That's the first mind training with understanding or training your mind with of the how difficult to obtain the precious human body. So he said, don't let it pass without accomplishing. What accomplishing you can be in division, and probably is the two. One is the temporary accomplishment. One is the extraordinary accomplishment. So the common accomplishment is for long life, healthy life, good life, wealthy life, and reborn higher fortune and free from lower realm. These all, if you can responsibility in this life, that is a temporary accomplishment, And then on top is the extraordinary, uncommon, the accomplishment is you can enter into the path of a middling being. You can enter into the path of a great being. So therefore, finally, you will be achievement state, the ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment, which means enlightenment, of the Hinayanas, Arhat, and enlightenment, completely Buddhahood of Mahayanas. Anyway, that's the final accomplishment. So the highest of all aims. The next one now, the second mind training, the second thought mind training of this external four stages of mind training. So the second is actually is the point we need to training with understanding the impermanence of this life. Let's we see. Our great enemy, the Lord of Death, arrives like a lightning from the sky, and nobody can predict when and where he will strike next. So you can afford to be able waiting a month or every month, even years. Right now is the time for virtuous Dharma practice. So, because first we understanding how difficult to obtain this precious human body, but now questions how long can belong to us, this precious like Vishu fulfilling jewel. But nobody can predicting exactly when, where, how we will be lost about this precious human body. This is very difficult. But we know it's a sooner or later 100% sure will be loose about this precious human body. This we know. The reason because including our birth is a part of a compounded phenomena. Means it's changeable, impermanence. Not only our life is alone impermanence, but phenomena, external the vessels of the world is impermanence. So how many times already changed? Like the externally, the creation stage, the abandoning stage, disintegration stage, and avoidance stage. This universe, how it changes, externally. And then there's the essential internal of the beings are also how many times they changes. You can see our friend, how many people already passed or so on. Some is younger than you, some is older than you, some is the same age as, but there are already many is past, So this telling us is that life is very impermanent. Not only normal regular beings, but even is like a holy beings like kings, queens, ministers, presidents, even like Buddha, Arya beings, noble beings, as Buddha Shakyamuni himself, so on, they are already past now. So only name today can left on the paper or history, but in fact nature is the life is already past. So these so many things, situation changes, telling us we are also including the part of this change, impermanence of the life. Like this way, we need to do meditate about it. First, we have to be understanding the impermanence of our life. And then it's not enough only understanding, and we need to training our mind with of this visualization of the impermanence. Changes on your life. Because if you can think immediately you want to training, like mentioned before, hearing wisdom, contemplation wisdom, and meditation wisdom of the Dharma, or so on, because there's no chance to wait, to next day, next year, next week, next month, next year. You can't, because we never know when comes suddenly of the death. So, and this is the reason why here this is like here the death is nobody can predict when and where he will strike next. The examples, the death arrives like lightning for the sky, strong, suddenly, immediately, and nobody can stop. So cannot avoid if the unfavorable conditions of death comes. That comes as usual, because impermanence. So nobody want to die, but nobody cannot control of the death. So death is the end of birth. That's because impermanence. Nobody want to be exhausting about our collection of the possessions, welfares, monies, economies, so on, but that is part of impermanence. So therefore, exhaustion is the end of the collection because impermanence. And nobody want to be separate from the friend relationships, so on, the member of friend, but it's at the end what situation comes, the separation is at the end of the meeting because it's impermanence. And then the falling dawn is the end of the something is the progress of the high level of stage or the building is finally is collapsing. So this is because including that's the part of the compounded phenomena. So this telling us is impermanence. Everything's of the compounded phenomena are impermanence or changeable, especially our life is like that. This is very true. So therefore, we need to do training your mind on this impermanence. So you can, so therefore you don't say, I want practice, but not now, you say, because I'm busy. So I will maybe start to practice next month or next year. But next year, again, you feel same busy, So therefore you say, oh no, this time I will do when after I retired, maybe, so then I have more time. But who knows, we have chance to waiting to us to come after retired. So who is earlier? The impermanence or death is earlier, maybe come than of our waiting to retired, So who knows, impermanence. So therefore, it's just immediately right now is the right time. He says on this now, right now is the time because it's the time. One, mention we are hard to find, difficult to obtain of the precious human body, but we we have this now is with the precious human body, and especially with an 18 qualities, more rarity. But we are lucky, fortunately, at the moment we can have these 18 qualities. That's the right time to practice right now, And also, as we stay healthy, young, the age not too old, still is the chance, opportunity. You can do so many things right now, not too late, That is the right time. And another one, the reason why I say is the time is right, because you have freedom by yourself. What do you want to do practice? What do you should not, you don't want, what you don't want to do. So that is your choice. At the moment, you depend on your hand, So your freedom, because so many beings haven't freedom, but we are lucky. We are really fortunately at the moment you have freedom as that's on your choice. So therefore, this all, if you thinking is true, that means is now is right now is the time for virtuous dharma practice, the chance opportunity. So anyway, like this way, keep with better mindfulness, better alertness mentioned before. As the carefully to do not forget about the impermanence of life. That's the second training. And then third mind training in the next stage, the stages of the 12th, the verse 12th. So let's we see the 12th. For all beings' actions will not go to waste, but will bear fruits. And when karma rippens, there is no way to change it outcome. So now, while you are fortunate enough to have some influence, if you still insist on deceiving yourselves, who then will protect you? So this means is now we need thinking about the natural rule, karma of cause and effect. According to the Buddhism, the phenomena, especially the suffering of the samsara or the cycle of existence, the three world, cannot be appearances bear naturally or bear causelessly, bear automatically, that is not possible. And even though if you believe is the world, the suffering of samsara can cause and condition, but cannot be from wrong cause and wrong condition. This also not possible. So therefore, in a Buddhist, they believe is the suffering of the samsara must be dependent to the similar cause and the similar condition. So in this way, what means similar cause and similar condition? It depends to the contaminated karma. Especially is the negative karma is as the substantial cause and condition of the suffering of samsara. And then the positive karma is as can cause and condition of the suffering of change. And then is the ignorant is as the condition, delusion is the condition of all pervasive of the suffering, so on. So that means is all that the sufferings, the faults of samsara is produced, composed from of a similar cause and a similar condition, but cannot producing from wrong cause and the wrong condition, impossible. That's how to say, for all beings' actions. Action means is a karma, same meaning, Sanskrit language. Tibetan we say lay. Literally on English is lay means is actions, will not go to waste. Buddha says karma committed will not be dissipated. Karma accumulated will not be dissipated. Karma not committed will not be experienced. Karma committed will not be dissipated. Karma not accumulated will not be experienced, Buddha says. So this means is after when we created the karma, any kind of karma, be physically, be verbally, be mentally, and then the imprint of your previous action could be stored on the stream of your mind. That means is a karma follow us through the life after of another life, continuously. Karma cannot disappear. So now the questions, when will be happening the result of karma after we created karma? In briefly, the answer is there's 4 possibilities. One possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in this life, in single life. That means is we created karma early age, and then we'll be experiencing the result in the end of this age. But that means is karma whose fruits will be experienced in this single life. The reason, the most of strong karma, strong motivation, and the long term, and the spiritual object, the karma. But these we're talking about both positive karma and negative karma, no matter the contaminated karma, both. If good karma, the first possibility is you will be experiencing all the good, the result in this life. If a bad karma, the strong one, and then all the bad things you will be experiencing also in this life. Anyway, this one possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in this life. And then the second possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in another, not another. Karma whose fruits will be experienced immediate next rebirth, in immediate next rebirth. So this means is because important we should to know this one, because some people they're having doubt easily say I did lots of the virtues, positive action, karma, or he also, she also too, but there are so many problems, so many obstacles. And then their computation compared to others, some is they never ever do any virtuous actions, they doesn't believe virtues, karmas, and lots of misdeeds, the karma negative, but he or her life is very successfully, everything's, is going very well, healthy, long life, and looks like everything's very going well and become rich, and that means a doubt, start arising the doubts to the karma of cause and effect, question comes. But why coming these doubts? We haven't yet enough the 4 possibilities, the karma whose fruits will be experiencing. You only believe is the karma whose fruits will be experienced in this life, one single life, everything's. No, this is not true. Some karma, but not most. Almost 95% or maybe 99% is will be experiencing next life, future life, not in this life. So therefore, you understanding only thinking about the karma's fruits is will be experiencing in the first one, karma whose fruits will be experienced in this life. But this is not the case, not the only, So therefore now the immediate next rebirth means that's why if we accumulated lots of negative karma, if you couldn't find the antidote finally, and then pass away, and then unfortunately it's immediate next rebirth lower realm, and then we'll be experiencing more. The suffering of the suffering is more. Because unfortunate low realms chance more suffering of suffering. And then if you having accumulated merits and less negative, or you have enough purifications, everything's, and then the fully repentant result is not in this life, and then immediate next rebirth, you will be reborn again in the higher fortune in the human and the God realm. Not only, but immediate next rebirth, you chance opportunity to reborn, fortune family, fortune country, and fortune lineage, and continuously you can linking your previous culture, your previous the traditions to continuously in next rebirth again, because the projection positive karma is very good, and on top your aspiration prayer is good enough, so the cause and condition, substantial cause and the favorable condition completely completed, and then is the fully repentant result is reborn again in the higher fortune realm. Anyway, that's just karma whose fruits will be experienced just immediate next rebirth. That's the second possible. If not, then the third possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in another circumstant lifetimes. So in another circumstant lifetimes means is maybe third life, maybe fourth life, maybe we'll be experiencing is after 100th life, even if it sometimes takes a kalpas, life. But no matter how long, but mention I quoted from Buddha says, karma committed will not be dissipated. Sooner or later, the result will be experiencing happiness from positive karma and will be experiencing suffering from the negative karma. That's the third possibilities. And then the fourth means is karma whose fruits, uncertainty. So uncertainty doesn't mean it disappear automatically, causelessly. Doesn't mean. But negative karma, one good qualities can have, which is you can do purifications. So that is the time now, is the right time. We are not too late, because we are ordinarily sure so many misdeed karma in this life, and so many the imprints of previous misdeed karma still yet not exhausted, But as the time, good time is right now, you can do purifications, So that is only as the negative karma have one good qualities that gave you chance, having the chance of purifications, So right now, so that means is the misdeed karma. But if you found the antidote, and then this result is not certainty, uncertainty, because you can purification, you can do purify the misdeed karma. And then the positive karma also can destroy without of three excellent, any kind of your positive action karma without of three excellent. Three excellent means is beginning, not enough motivation, not pure, lacking of the pure motivation, and the meantime also your mind too much distracted, and the end also missing of the dedication, and then it's not strong, your virtue. But if you any practice with the beginning is the excellent of first excellent of cultivation, mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, and the second excellent is the main practice without distraction, and the end excellent is with the conclusion of the dedication, prayer, and then your virtue is become very strong. Not only strong, but very stable, not only stable, but as will be result again and again as it comes chance, opportunity, happy enjoyment, until reach enlightenment, up to enlightenment of Buddhahood, because it was you three excellent with for purposes for enlightenment Buddhahood, and it was with three excellent you dedicated to benefit other mother sentient beings. So therefore, as long as one single sentient beings still remaining in this samsara, and your virtue, energy, power is still existent there, because you did dedicate, to sentient beings. So therefore, that is the protection. Negative karma, we need to do purifications. Positive karma, we need to do protect, So therefore, is if not good protection, and then can be damage your positive karma. If you could find the antidote, you can do purification, the misdeed karma. So anyway, that is the point of a natural rule, karma, of course, effect. So one important thing is this is what we need to know. Usually, oftenly, we say natural rule, nature. Natural rule, that's very important to know. Is true or not, natural rule. If you are understanding the karma of cause and effect means this rule is from naturally, not from country's rule, not from of the traditions rule, not that is from the religious rule, not this the Buddhist rule. Important to know. So therefore, whether Buddha comes in this earth or not, whether Buddha taught about the natural rule, karma of cause and effect, but nature is always there. The karma of cause and effect nature is always, with us. He only just introduced to you, with compassion and with wisdom. That is. Because everyone, we want to be happy enjoyment. But happiness enjoyment cannot born from the causelessly, without cause condition. Must be happiness enjoyment is with cause condition, which is to the similar cause, similar condition, or virtuous action. That Buddha say, engagement as much in virtuous deed, Buddha say, because virtue is the actual cause condition happiness. So everyone you want to happy enjoy. If this true, then you should be cultivation on the virtuous actions. That's one. And then similarly, as everyone wish same they doesn't want to be suffering. If this true, then suffering also depend to the similar cause, similar condition. Suffering cannot born by automatically, by causelessly. What is the similar cause? The evil, the negative action. So therefore, Buddha said, commit no evils. Engagement as much in virtuous deed. Subdue one's own mind thoroughly. That is the Buddha Dharma. So Buddha introduced to us. So only that is they explain introduced to a natural rule of cause and effect, but not that's created by the Buddhas. So like the ocean. The ocean is salty, we know. But someone, if they doesn't know yet and they're thirsty or they want to drink the ocean, and then someone says, no, don't drink. This doesn't work. That's salty water. It's introduced to you. So if you drink, and then it's more problem for you. So better, even thirsty, but don't. They speak truth, the nature truth, nature of the ocean. So that doesn't mean before wasn't salty. So after the teaching introduced to you and then become salty. No. So this means is a karma of cause and effect doesn't mean is when introduced to you, then comes karma of cause and effect, and wasn't before. That's totally. So this example like this way, we need to understand what means is a natural rule karma of cause and effect. If you agreement or if you understanding that's true natural rule, cannot beyond nobody. Rather you believe karma of cause and effect. Whether you are traditional or non-traditional, whether you are as powerful like king or queens or is like poor pretty, that's equally everyone. So cannot cross or broken about nature this rule. So this means the karma of cause and effect means natural rule of cause and effect. That's important. We need to know, because if this natural rule karma of cause and effect is created better of traditions, then if you feel uncomfortable, I have lots of misdeed karma, so I have not much of positive karma, so better I don't listen. You say, but this is stupidity. You see, so it doesn't work. If this can work, maybe me too. Also, I don't want listen better because I'm around thrown away. But this is not the case. The more problem. So therefore, better start listening, learning, and to judge and to show what is positive karma, which is negative karma. So, and beautifully one is contaminated karma, one is uncontaminated karma. So the uncontaminated karma is related to of your primordial wisdom to realizing about the selflessness, self of person, and selflessness of phenomena, emptiness, and according to the of ultimately, and according to the conventionally, everything's like illusion, illusorily. So like this way, if you understanding, that is start to enact with this view and with the pure motivation, and then if you any actions can start in the ultimate uncontaminated karma, we can say, because the result will be performing in nirvana or enlightenment comes to you, maybe Hirayana, Arhat, solitary or maybe enlightenment or Buddhahood, or as Bodhisattva, the Bhumi, first Bhumi to 10th Bhumi, Bodhisattva, so on. So this all is born from of uncontaminated karma. Means is motivation with the renunciation of samsara, and as knowledge is with wisdom to understanding the emptiness. So that's the one method. And then the contaminated karma. Here is particularly we're talking karma of contaminated. Why is it contaminated? Because we have self-grasping, ignorant, stare is obscured, or mind nature is by the obscuration of delusion. We haven't yet, realized true nature of emptiness. So as long as obscured or mind nature with the two dualistic grasping, and then is leading us in act about contaminated karma from body, from speech, and from heart. So as long as we have obscuration with the obscured by the karma, contaminated karma, and then leading us the fully repentant result in this samsara. So that's why we say contaminated aggregates. Our body, our speech, our perception, our recognition, all these could be as a division into 5 aggregates, So these ordinary aggregates is we say contaminated aggregates. Because why getting old age? The suffering of birth, suffering of old age, suffering of illness, suffering of death, this all we don't like but cannot stop. Because these aggregates is as contaminated, the result. Why is it we born naturally is contaminated? Because it was the projection karma is also contaminated. That's why it's a contaminated karma. But the contaminated karma, again, we could divide into there's 2 or 3. Maybe one is positive, one is negative, one is neutral. So negative karma from body, from speech, from heart, there's 10 negative actions, as you know usually, like killing, stealing, or so on. Harmful thought, harming mind, holding wrong view, so on, the 10 negative actions. And the positive karma is the opposite of these. Opposite means the mere 10 virtues and the supreme 10 virtues. Supreme 10 virtue is the opposite of 10 negative actions. And just stop of negative actions, that award of the 10 negative actions, that is a mere virtue. Anyway, that is the positive karma. So negative karma is as the cause of lower realm and the cause of the suffering of suffering. The positive karma is the cause of upper realm, fortune in the human and God realm, long life, healthy life, good life, wealthy life. But unfortunately, still related to the suffering of change. And then equanimity karma, or we say neutral karma. Sometimes we can say immovable karma, immovable or immutable karma. So immovable, immutable karma is created from meditation, shamatha meditation, the one-pointedness, equal pose meditation concentration, or calm abiding meditation with the stages of the form realm meditation, formless realm, the meditation concentrations, if we do this human body, and then we accumulated lots of immovable karma, immutable karma. So this immovable karma will be giving the result is it will be born future, one day, will be born in the maybe God of form realm, or maybe God of formless realm. So anyway, no matter which karma, positive, negative, or immovable, but the result is still in samsara. That's why the result will be performed of the contaminated karma. Yeah. So therefore now here, this is the point we need to understanding first, natural role, karma of cause and effect. And when you understanding, and then you want as much possible collecting more of positive karma, you don't want collecting about the negative karma. And finally, even you want to avoid the immutable karma, even means is you want to be avoiding about the contaminated karma. You want an act of uncontaminated karma, because if training your mind good enough, the natural karma of cause and effect. At the least, we say Dharma practitioner, there's 3 options: path of smaller, path of middling being, path of great being. At least you can enter into the path of the smaller beings, because when you believe the natural karma of cause and effect, so therefore you can start from now cultivation on the positive engagement or positive actions more, and less negative actions naturally because you doesn't like. So even if you create it accidentally of negative karma, but you want to do purifications, So therefore, this means you are entering into the path of smaller being. That means at least you can responsibility imitate next rebirth, not falling in the lower realm, and you will be reborn higher in the fortune in the human or God realm again. So this means this motivation, if you follow karma of cause and effect, you are entering into the path of dharma. But this dharma is the smaller being. But it's good, very important. Because unfortunately in this world, so many people that doesn't care about the karma of cause and effect, or they doesn't know even what is karma of cause and effect. So many problems, So finally happened the problem. So that's why important. And then finally, if you understanding even the immovable karma result, stay giving only contaminated aggregates, and then start a renunciation of samsara, that means is entering into the uncontaminated karma is start coming to you. So therefore, so many beneficial if you thinking about karma of cause and effect. Another one, temporary benefit. If you believe karma of cause and effect, so many when this life, very in the present life, if problems, something happened, then you understand, that is karma of cause and effect, because these problems depend to the karma. So now I'm going to purification. So this result of the problem is meaningful. What is the meaning of your suffering? Because going purifications, because going to exhausting about your previous misdeed karma. So today is the chance. I have to patience about this suffering. I have to accept this suffering was my misdeed karma. So today is the repentance result was from my misdeed, not that's misdeed from others, So therefore, no angry to other people. You can patience with other people's problems with other people from you. But if we doesn't believe karma, if you don't know karma, then always we upset, angry with somebody. These problems from him or her or something, from them, they're harming, they're storing me, they're shooting me, they're yelling me, something, they're abusing, so on, so on. Always we thinking from them. We totally forgetting one's own faults, So therefore, it's very difficult to bear, very difficult to challenge. So many difficulties, so many suffering, more and more comes mentally, and then anxiety and the stress, so many of difficulties, limitations, suffering. These very different people who believe karma of cause and effect, who doesn't believe karma of cause. These two people, when it comes to situation problems, and the very different experiencing is different, So therefore, anyway, if a good situation comes, also you should not forget that is lucky, fortunately, because you enough the previous positive karma, merits and aspiration. So today you having fully repentant result is fortunately good life, healthy life, wealthy life, healthy life, long life, it's a peaceful, harmony life, so on. That is also your karma, the result from your karma. At the same time, you can share your kindness. May all sentient beings be happy, enjoy with cause and conditions like you, So when you are having suffering, experiencing, that times also you can generate your compassion. May all beings free from suffering in the cause of suffering because of the misdeed karma. My suffering, like example, my suffering is my misdeed karma, So may I wish all sentient beings free from such result of suffering and the misdeed karma. So therefore, it's a compassion start arising and your suffering meaningful, for purification, So many things, good things, if you can practice or training with the natural rule, karma of cause and effect. But when already fully repent result, that times they have no chance, no choice. Because sometimes people mistake, Buddhists, they believe everything is karma. Right? You also maybe hear this. So I say, okay, no, sound is, we cannot do any, cannot do any, only waiting, so what happens, already they decided, good or bad. So in these moments, have no choice any. That's totally wrong. No. Karma cause and effect means is the result of the good or bad anyway experiencings are dependent to the similar cause and similar condition. You see these two words, otherwise we used has to be say cause and condition, not only cause, not only condition. You see, so cause is a seed, actual substantial cause is like seed when we planting in the ground. And then the seedling comes, sown or not, is dependent on the condition, the temperature, the fertilizers, so the time, continuity, so many conditions. If you lack the conditions, and then the seedling not seedling, only dry seed into the ground, maybe hundreds of years even, And then is the only condition without a seed, then also is no possible seedling. So when they complete the needed of a substantial cause, the actual seed, and the favorable conditions, and then seedling coming. This is the point. Karma of cause and effect means is seed, hundreds, thousands, millions different kind aspect of positive karma, negative karma, and movable karma. The imprint is stored on the stem of your mind during many lifetimes. So know which seedling is the first reference today in this life. Suffering more or happiness more is depend the condition now. So therefore should not waiting only what will be bring the result, is it also depend your condition, which you like, experiencing the repentance from positive or from negative is depend your condition. So therefore cause and condition, karma of cause and effect, the cause and condition. So it's very important to know. So, and anyway, it's future, especially the future. The past is already past. Either is good or bad, already gone. Only memory. So they cannot return back any. But the karma already created, the imprint stored on the stem. This we know, going negative, purification, and positive to protect and aspiration, dedication for free low realm and reborn higher, fortune, long life, good life, so on. All transferring into part of liberation or so on, your virtue. So this is so many things you can thinking like the karma of cause and effect, very important to thinking right now is the right time. If you still, but so now, while you are fortunate enough to have some influence there, is if you insist on deceiving yourself if you doesn't care, and then this is deceiving. We usually worry to cheating, from other people's, but other people's not so much danger cheating us, maybe for 1 week problem, maybe 1 month problem, maybe 1 year, so maybe your life, but not further life after another life. But if cheating by oneself, cheating yourself once, and then is problems not only 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 1 life, but these problems life after of another life, so continuously is a problem. So therefore, it's carefully right now has to be understanding nature rule, karma of cause and effect, and try training with of the red karma and to avoid of the wrong karma, benefit yourself, and on top, if you have good motivation, to benefit others. So on, so many things we need like this. We're training your mind. So if you doesn't and developing yourself, then who then will protect you as this future? Is there no possibilities? So and. Okay, that's the nature rule, the karma of cause and effect. So now we next going to speak about the third one, the verse third verse. If merely thinking about the samsara, various sufferings which are unbearable, unbearably intense, causes you to shudder. Ask yourself, what will it be like when body and mind actually undergo these countless forms of dukkha? Dukkha is a Sanskrit language, actually. The forms of dukkha means forms of the suffering. So now the third month training, we need to training our mind is with understanding the faults of the samsara. So Sanskrit language, samsara. In Tibetan, we say korwa. So korwa means is the cyclic existence, the circulation. So circulation have no begin, no end. That's circulation. So our birth and death, again and again, is no begin, no end generally. If we cannot enter into the path of liberation, if we cannot stop about the obscuration of delusion, the ignorant, then we cannot free from contaminated karma. Then we cannot freedom from the suffering of the karma, the suffering of samsara. That means secularly existent, generally. But individually, we can say, generally, samsara have no begin and no end, but individually, everyone, sooner or later, can end of the secular existence of the samsara. Can. The reason, Buddha nature, pervading equally for all sentient beings. So Buddha nature means the seed of enlightenment is already sown on your mind, primordially. So not only is the waiting to the condition. So when will be start arresting the favorable conditions, and I mentioned you the seedling, Buddha nature can be germinate, the seed. So therefore gradually will be enlightenment is coming. So everyone, if we want to ask, he can enlightenment? Say yes. She, yes. And then it, yes. That, yes. Everything, if you want each sentence, if possibilities ask each one is could be can enlightenment, and then answer is always says yes, 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 yes. There's never say no. But logically, I'm saying, that's just individually why everyone can end of the secular existent individually. But generally, we can say have no end of samsara. Why? Because sentient beings can exist numberlessly, numberless. That's why generally samsara have no end. Because the last one is number one, right? So therefore it's not numberless, but space is no end. So universe is boundlessly existent. So sentient beings with the form or without form put numberlessly existent, Buddha says. So you cannot count the number, countless. That's why there's no end, generally. But individually, everyone, if you ask each one point, as I mentioned, you ask and then say yes, yes, enlightenment. Yes, will be enlightenment. You and me, there's no any unexceptions. So lucky, fortunately. But anyway, is generally that's the samsara means cyclic existent like this circulation. But sometimes up, sometimes down. With the karma, positive karma up, and with negative karma and the falling down. Like they gave an example, is the water wheel, the chains of the water chain, like, the water chains that deep place take water and put on the higher in the field, but up and down, up and down, up and down. We also sometimes is up in this moment is in the human realm, right? So next, up or down, what do you think? It depends. So each one, we don't know. We are not everyone up, but not everyone down. So, but hope is everyone up. But anyway, up or down is depend to your projection karma from now. We mention you. If positive karma good enough, purification, the misdeed karma is enough, purified, and then it's up. And the opposite, if you enact negative laws and you doesn't care the purifications and virtuous actions very less, and then it's done. Next rebirth from the karma we mentioned you already. So therefore, that means a secular existence samsara normally. So But now the suffering here talking, we need to be thinking about the truth. I know many people that doesn't like listening the suffering of samsara. They say, no, I'm coming to your school, this class to make more happy, enjoy, to find happy enjoyment. But you just make me more update, the suffering. I'm already enough suffering. I'm already enough the worry, the panic. There's so many of the so now you add more for me come to your class, So, but actually that's not the case, the point, First, I mentioned you, Buddha introduced to us, what is wrong, what is right, So he introduced to the true nature of the samsara for us. If you recognize, if you understand, if you agreement, and then start the beneficiary start addressing the renunciation of samsara. If a renunciation of samsara comes and then you want to find the way of liberation, the path of liberation, you want to enlightenment comes. Because if you don't recognize or you don't agreement or you don't renunciation to samsara, then no makes sense to nirvana. Because for you, is samsara, that's good, right? And then why make sense if it says nirvana is nice, good, bad? You say, no, samsara is very nice, good for me. So, so then no makes sense. But therefore, is when you understanding the faults of samsara, and then you want to find the way, enter into the path of liberation. And then you understanding the qualities of nirvana, what it means. So nirvana is, as Buddha says, as peace. This peace is ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment, ultimate liberation, ultimate freedom. So once chance opportunity, we freedom from the secular existence, and that's forever. Forever. Doesn't mean you are disappear. Still as you are, can remaining, so the to benefit sentient beings with your power of wisdom and power of compassion. But you are become the contaminated aggregates transformed into uncontaminated wisdom body. Means is you are become, very beginning is we are like the embodiment of delusion, karma, and three poisons like. So at the end, this transform into embodiment, your achievement state transform into embodiment of wisdom and compassion. That's with a wisdom body. That is an uncontaminated body or uncontaminated aggregates. So that means is liberation, nirvana, or enlightenment being, the beings of enlightenment. So this, all the benefit is important for beginning training your mind with the suffering of samsara. This is first, least we need to know suffering, why, how, and then you start avoid negative action, because you understanding suffering is composed or producing from the negative action, misdeed karma, like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, slander, the harsh word, harmful speech, chatters, harmful thought, harming mind, covetousness, and holding wrong views, the 10 negative actions. So you don't like, because you know suffering. Of course, a human being, even animals can experiencing directly the suffering. Because when arresting suffering, as long as remaining suffering, and then happy enjoy when ceasing, stopping. So therefore, even animal can recognize easily suffering. But suffering of change, when they are arresting, you cannot feel. They say you are happy, enjoy. As long as it remains, still you can't feel suffering is a happy, enjoy. And when stopping or when ceasing, changing in transfer into suffering, but too late that times, So the suffering change. So suffering change is more in the upper fortune realm, human and God realm, because the fortune realm, fortunately, was accumulated lots of merits. So the result is born in this higher fortune realm. So you have chance, healthy life, good life, enjoyment, happiness, so many things, but temporary. Temporary means is change. Change means the end is suffering. So therefore, is suffering is more chance in the human or God realm. The suffering is more chance in the hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realms. There are less chance suffering of change, because the result is the negative karma. So therefore, the fruits, the result is fully suffering. Less chance the suffering will change in the unfortunate low realm. And then the God of form realm and God of formless realm, more chance experiencing the all-pervasive suffering. Actually, all-pervasive suffering is the fundamental sense of a hell realm beings up to of a peak of existent formless God or formless realm beings. Both are equally and partially pervasive, this all-pervasive suffering. But in the God of form realm and God of form, especially the formless realm, they have no experiencing suffering and no suffering of change at the moment, but yet no freedom. All pervasive suffering is there. The fundamental contaminated aggregates is there, So therefore, it's no freedom, yet not freedom. All pervasive suffering, So, but anyway, it's the all pervasive suffering is at the fundamental of the suffering of change. If you ask why sometimes suffering, because our basic, the contaminated aggregates is as all pervasive suffering. Why sometimes we have the suffering of suffering? Because basis on the basic suffering of all pervasive, the contaminated aggregates is there. We are born in this samsara with the contaminated aggregates. Contaminated aggregates, nature is all pervasive suffering. Definition is like that. Even you the all pervasive suffering is cannot feel when they are resting, can't. And therefore, as long as it remains continuously, still you cannot experiencing. And when ceasing, stopping, when the end, but still you cannot feel. But this could become the best of the first two, suffering or change. So therefore, has to be found the way to liberate even the all-pervasive suffering. That means you found the nirvana, the path of nirvana, So therefore, when you understanding first the nature of suffering or samsara, and then you need to training, practice, meditate, and then start arising the renunciation to the samsara, and then any your practice can be directly or indirectly cause and condition for liberation. If yet not renunciation to the samsara, and still you have very attachment, desire to the samsara, and then any your practice, no matter we go in sutra and tantra, sub-school, high school, just name, but you are still entering into the path of smaller being, okay? Because you believe karma of cause and effect. You want free from suffering, you want to be, as the temporary happiness, enjoyment in this samsara, therefore you're for next life. So that means you are a Dhamma practitioner, but your path is still in smaller, into the path of smaller, not path of liberation. So because the problems, yet not enough renunciation to the samsara, yet not freedom, attachment to the samsara. That's the main condition. So therefore, when you're having enough training your mind, this kind of faults of samsara, then renunciation comes. But don't forget, renunciation doesn't mean you are always be very sad, as a depression and the anxiety or something in there. No. Those Buddhas, sorry, not Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, like the practitioners, those, the female and male practitioners, the yogis, yoginis, the mahasiddhis they're already completely renunciation to the samsara. But he or her courage, confidence is much 100 times more higher than us, more stronger than us, and less the anxiety, depression, the pressure of the difficulties and the stress or so on. They have almost free, So you see, you understanding, because sometimes people are thinking, I don't want to thinking the suffering of samsara because this make me boring. So boring is a good boring and bad boring, they're two. But we want a good boring, So and then start the benefit, So this boring will be meaningful boring for you. So therefore, so important to know. Anyway, that's why this is a common external, the preliminary practice. That's one part of the four thoughts mind training. So the mind training of the understanding the faults of the suffering of the samsara. So ask you yourself, what will it be like when body, even we're thinking about the faults of such suffering of samsara and very difficulties to bear. And then what do you think when exactly comes the situation on your shoulder or on your body, and then how we could confess, not easy. So therefore, it's actually indulge these the countless forms of dukkha, or dukkha means this is I mentioned already, the suffering. So the meaning. So that's why important we training mind of these kind of thoughts. And then next, now so next stage, now we're having gone the preliminary stage, the external, the common or ordinary preliminary stage is these four we mentioned you. How difficult to obtain pleasure, remembered, impermanence of life, the natural role of karma of cause and effect, and the suffering of the suffering of samsara. So these four thoughts is we say four thoughts mind training is according to the external, common, ordinary preliminary stage. Sense of Hinayana up to Mahayana, Sutra, Tantra, and till great perfection, Mahamudra or great perfection, Dzogpa Chenpo practitioners. We need this four thought mind training is the basic. And now is the next stage is we start now going talking about the internal, uncommon, extraordinary preliminary stage. Okay, so know what is internal uncommon preliminary stages. Let's we see the next one, the 14th. There's three. I think 3 stages here in this text. There's 3 stages. Usually there's 5 stages: refuge, cultivation, mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, for purification, with the 4 powers, and for collection merits, offering mandala, and for the purification and collection merit with prestation. But here is 3. Also 6 sometimes, is Guru Yoga also. But here is including in 3 only, 3 stages. So the first one, we see now, the internal, is the internal of the extraordinary preliminary stage to the actual your practice. So the 14th. 14th. Only they have the power to lead us from this great terror, so extremely difficult to escape. No one else could ever save us. So we should take these 3 most precious jewels as your refuge, for there are infallible ways, compassionate and powerful. That means is now what we should do, because we're having already renunciation to the samsara, and we're looking of searching of nirvana or ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment. But question is, it is possible? The answer is 100%, but logically possible. We mentioned you, everyone, you have potential power to achievement, ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment. But necessary depend on the favorable condition, excellent, absolute, authentic refuge object. Who is authentic refuge object for freedom, samsara, liberation of samsara, and for attainment, ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment? Would you think in this world, among this world, is possible to some object is refuge for enlightenment, for liberation, samsara? No. Because within this samsara already, everyone going to searching, searching to find peace, happiness, freedom from suffering, but no one yet not, attainment state of completely satisfaction state. Since we grow up after mother's birth, we start to find some happy and joy, and try to move off obstacles, sufferings, till adult age, or old age, or till after retired, or till of death comes between there. Then at 24. Yes, you can find so many rich people or famous or very high level of the state of the possessions or so on in this world. But if you ask them, are you really completely now satisfaction? It's a completely attainment state is a ultimate peace, ultimate enjoyment, or completely happiness enjoyment? What do you think the answer? Say no. No. Or do you want more something to find of the solution, have more happy, more enjoyment, and less sufferings? They say yes. That means is they yet not found, the way of the happiness, enjoyment. So this telling us there's no refuge object in this world. If you go to very powerful king, queen, take refuge for enlightenment, they cannot give you refuge. If you take refuge on the kings, powerful kings, countries, so, Americans, a very the strong country actually, is to take refuge. Say, may I have Donald Trump? May I have enlightenment? May I have, your protection to give me liberation at the samsara? He cannot give, So it means it's not possible in this samsara. If possible, themselves must be first freedom, the suffering of the samsara, and themselves must be already completely achievement, happiness, enjoyment. If good person, then maybe try to give you the protection. But themselves yet not, right, in this samsara. So no, in this case, who can give us protection to free? It's the refuge, final refuge object, 3 jewels. Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, Sangha jewel. These 3 jewels is the final, authentic, undeceptive refuge object. The reason why? Because themselves, Buddha himself, Buddha means is completely having freedom from obscuration, delusion, karma, and even obscuration to the omniscience. And themselves already achievement completely the all-knowing knowledge, omniscience, all-knowing knowledge, the wisdom. And he or her heart is totally full of great compassion and bodhicitta. So this means is Buddha. Buddha means is an embodiment of wisdom, and pure compassion. That is Buddha. So what needs the final refuge object? 2 qualities. Great compassion and great perfect wisdom. If lack any one of these 2, that is not final refuge. For example, someone very compassionate, but lack knowledge, wisdom. He or she doesn't know how to help to you because no knowledge. If someone have very intelligent but lack compassion, very dangerous, careful. This person, very intelligent, very smart, sharp, faculty, but lack motivation. Then danger, more danger. Better is not intelligent, So therefore now what we understand is final refuge object, no matter what you calling name. Say Buddha, Bodhisattva, Arya being, noble being, supreme being, holy being, God, the creator of the universe, whatever, king, queen, whatever you say, but the qualities, fully he or her heart is completely is achievement state of great compassion and great perfection wisdom. Then that is undeceptive refuge object for everyone. If missing both or one of these 2 qualities, no matter calling what, even say Buddha, but that is not final refuge object. Cannot. Right? So in this case, now Buddha means is Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, Sangha jewel, 3 jewel. Buddha is unsure passport teacher. Unsure passport teacher. Peerless. And there's no more higher qualities. Because have no obscuration. Already completely freedom from delusion and karma. He or she enough accumulation merits, accumulation of wisdom. Since he cultivated mantra of enlightenment 3 numberless eons until the end completed 2 collections and then enlightenment. Become enlightenment, that's Buddha's as unsure passport teacher. So therefore his teaching is unsure passport, hairless, powerful path for liberation, his teaching. Buddha is just teacher. But his teaching is the unsure passport path on the real protection for us. Dharma. Dharma means is actually protection, mind protection. Change from negative emotion. Dharma can change or negative emotion. Dharma could be change or delusion. Dharma can support to change or ignorant. Therefore, as Dharma can protect from suffering. Means it can avoid the suffering of samsara. So that means Dharma can change. So that's unsure possible path. Dharma jewel, among the three jewels. The last third jewel is the Sangha jewel. Sangha jewel, there's extraordinary Sangha jewel, like Arya being, noble being, supreme being, first Bhumi Bodhisattva, 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva, like Avalokiteshvaraya, Arya Manjushri, Arya Tara, Arya Vajrapani. This kind of all is this extraordinary Sangha jewel. And then ordinary Sangha jewel must be the group, like monks, nuns, and even the lay practitioner, Upasaka holder. Maybe most of you are the lay practitioner. So means is the Upasaka holder, lay practitioner, family holders. You are also, but you are mere Sangha. Okay? So that the monks, nuns are as real, means is the original of the Sangha. Anyway, both are Sangha, the ordinary Sangha, Sangha jewel. So Sangha jewel is an unsure possible leader, the refuge part of refuge object, unsure possible leader. Leader meant the guide. Because Buddha passed away already 2,600 years gone. His Dharma mentioned you very deep, very vast, very extensive. So therefore, without a guide, a leader, we don't know how to follow exactly all his teachings. Even if you do, but we don't know how to receive external Vinayana vow. There's no leader, Sangha jewel. No Sangha jewel, then how receive empowerment, any session, the transformation, the oral instruction. So this all is dependent to the Sangha jewel, right? So therefore, Sangha jewel is as unsure possible leader. So we need these three refuge objects. That's enough. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. But sometimes people say, oh, refuge is funny. I don't want to take refuge anyone. Myself standing on my feet. But that's not true, actually. Since we born naturally rely on the refuge. Who is your refuge object? The first one. Parents. Yes, your parents is your first natural refuge. Because there's no kindness, parents, as a benefit to us, we cannot today this adult age. This strong body, no possible. Almost 99% is no possible. There's no parents' kindness. By yourself, I think, cannot grow up. So therefore, it's naturally just born we taking on the refuge, on the parents, kindness of parents. And then let it grow up, and then taking refuge on the teachers of kindergarten sense, and the subsequent class, middle class, and then high school. We need to take refuge, right? Them, if you want to become like PhD, and then you need to take the teacher on the refuge on there. Otherwise, if you want to become a PhD, but you don't want to take a teacher of PhD, then you never ever can examine, right? So who gave you the attitude? So no possible. That means it's worldly, naturally we're going to taking refuge, And then sometimes they're also taking refuge to kings, queens, ministers, So many Tibetans in exile taking refuge on India. But that's all is temporary refuge object. Not we taking refuge for enlightenment for them. But we bring the ultimate refuge object with us together. Temporarily, we're going to take refuge for them. But ultimately, we can have the ultimate refuge object to share them. Do you believe? Yes. So, therefore, ultimately, so therefore, the refuge funnel is someone you want to enter into the path of Dharma, or liberate from samsara and nirvana, want to achieve nirvana, then we must take refuge on the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha to understanding. So this is the point here, is only they have the power, so to lead us from this great terror. So extremely difficult to escape, not easy. No one else in this world could ever save us in this world. For liberation, for enlightenment is not possible.
Temporary benefit is, yes, as mentioned you, from sense parents up to of the teachers, so on. So we should take, therefore you should first understanding how important the refuge object. So we should take this, then you need to training. These three most precious jewels, Dharma jewel, Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, Sangha jewel. Why I say jewels? Like more precious than Vishnu jewel. Vishnu jewel is very rare, but very pure, very expensive, very precious, can be benefit the temporary Vishnu fulfillment temporarily. That's jewel, Vishnu jewel. But is Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is more precious than even the temporary, the refuge. So therefore, it's the precious. But we used has to the name it says jewel. So the precious jewels as our refuge. Our meant is if you interest to the Dharma, and then that's our refuge. For what? Take refuge for what? It's for there are the infallible ways, means is omniscience, all-knowing knowledge, suchness wisdom, manyness wisdom. That's the infallible ways. And infallible compassions, because compassion, observation of sentient being, compassion, observation of phenomena, compassion without observation, non-conceptuality, compassion, Buddha's final compassion, spontaneously, automatically, effortlessly. That's why it's Buddha's activities endlessly benefit to sentient beings. So it's a compassionate, that is an infallible compassion. And infallible, the powerful, invariably is division in the four activities, Buddha's peaceful activity, if work, and increasing activity, if work, and that if there's the capabilities, and then the magnetizing activity. But if these three activities doesn't work, and then the final, wrathful activity, But rather, it's no matter it's peaceful activity or till wrathful activity, but main motivation is compassion, bodhicitta. Method is wisdom. So together, so that's the activity, the power. That's Buddha's power, So the son is compassion and the powerful. So this is the refuge, we're taking refuge on Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then the next, the verse 5. So then after the refuge, now is we go to one more verse. So this is the cultivation, Mardo of enlightenment, bodhicitta. The internal, uncommon, extraordinary, preliminary stage. We mentioned you there's three stages in this teaching. So it's the second is the cultivation, Mardo of enlightenment, and the 15th. So let's we see. All the three worlds misery comes from watching happiness for ourselves, and all the virtues and happiness is born of a mind that wishes others will. So, following the example of the teacher of all the gods and human beings, generate the supreme mind. This is said upon unsurpassable awakening. So, all the three worlds means is samsara, or three realms, or 6 realms. These are realm, formless realm. That's the three worlds. Under the ground, over the upper of ground, and over of ground, or so on. The three worlds. Different kind, various mentioned you before, the suffering of samsara, misery, comes from the main condition is wanting happiness for oneself, means self-attachment, self-grasping, self-ego, self-clinging. Ego is the root of the source of the samsara. So therefore, everyone ordinarily is me, I. I want, I need, I want, I don't need. The bad things I don't want. The good things, everything I want, if possible. right? That's me, I. So comes from wanting happiness for ourselves. And all the virtues and the happiness is born of a mind that wishes others will. Why Buddha enlightenment already 2,600 years ago? Because before the three numberless eons, he cultivated mind of enlightenment in front of Buddha Shakyamuni. His attitude benefit to other mother sentient beings. During these three numberless eons, he has to be so many times over and over his life, his blood, his skin, his bone, his organs, his activities, his time, everything's offered to sentient beings, benefit sentient beings, going to purification, going to collection merits, collect to wisdom for enlightenment, benefit for sentient beings, again and again and again with hardships. And the end, he completely enlightenment Buddhahood after three numberless eons, loads. And then, of course, there's Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, and those of the achievement, accumulation, and Mahasiddhis, or so on, the day and night, 24 hours, they're going loads of like these kind of activities, following. So this means why they are early enlightenment, we are still not yet. Because we still is looking, searching the root from self-attachment. Me is the number one, I is the number one. For them, as why enlightenment earlier than us? Because their attitude benefit others more than themselves. Means they cultivated mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. So they cherishing to others more, but themselves early to enlightenment, you see. We are still remaining in this samsara foolishly because we doesn't care other sentient beings. Only we just attachment to oneself. This is the problem or the noise. So this is the point here. So, and therefore is so following the example of the teacher of all the gods, and because in this upper fortune and even God and human realm, there's no more as unsure path. There's a higher teachers than of Buddha. Buddha is unsure possible teacher. In human, so many powerful kings, queens, and the God, they also King Brahma, Indras, so on. But you cannot compare to the Buddha. Buddha is unsure possible teacher. That's the example of the teacher of all God and human beings. So therefore, if you interest this truth, the view, motivation, and the path, and the result, and then here is generate the supreme mind, not the normal mind, not the regular mind. It's a supreme, spiritual, supreme mind that is set upon unsure path of awakening. Means is a cultivation mind of enlightenment. We say bodhicitta, Sanskrit language, cultivated mind of enlightenment. So this bodhicitta, one is ultimate bodhicitta, one is a conventional bodhicitta. But we are ordinary. It's beginning. We cannot cultivating on the ultimate bodhicitta. One day will, when you attainment path of seeing, but yet not. And then we need to start from now is the cultivation on the conventional bodhicitta. That is meant our bodhicitta. Could begin two. One is aspiration bodhicitta, for focus on the result, enlightenment, and for benefit sentient beings, and focus of the cause of enlightenment, which is the six perfections, like practice perfection of generosity, morality, conduct, patience, perfection of the practice of meditation concentration, perfection of the effort, and the perfection of the wisdom, the sixth perfection. So we need to promise, commitment, engage, we say aspiration bodhicitta and engagement bodhicitta. These two aspects, different aspects according to the result, Buddhahood, and on the causes of Buddhahood for benefit sentient beings, but one nature actually bodhicitta. That's both are the essential of here. There's an unsure past awakening. This mind is unsure past awakening because he or her heart fully full of the compassion, great compassion, and great of the pervasive or the bodhicitta, for benefit sentient beings with these two aspects, aspiration bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. So may we wish, all sentient beings leading enlightenment of Buddhahood. Therefore, may I wish as soon as possible attainment state enlightenment Buddhahood. So this kind of motivation comes and then you are really start entering into the path of Mahayana. You are become this, if you receive this internal Bodhisattva's vow with this motivation, and then that moment you are become the son of Buddha's heart. You are become the same family, the stages, same family, same lineage of Bodhisattva. But you are still, we are ordinary Bodhisattva, because yet not cultivated ultimate bodhicitta. We are having the conventional bodhicitta, but we can call you, they can call you, they can name you are Bodhisattva. That's from Buddha says sutra text, and the commentary by the Shantandewa Bodhicitta, our text also says, whenever arising moments, very moments, this bodhicitta from deeply from your heart, and then as your name is Bodhisattva. They can call you, as named to you as Bodhisattva, ordinary Bodhisattva. So if you cultivated mind of enlightenment, and day and night 24 hours and multiple your virtue, progress, even sleeping with the snoring, but your virtue is in multiple. Really, even you play or said like football, but your virtue is in multiple with you, because you're having these two vows: engagement bodhicitta vow and the aspiration bodhicitta vow, and engagement bodhicitta vow. You are this vow holder. So therefore, it's in multiple, your virtues. Never ever stop, unstoppable. I mean, it's this virtue development stage till enlightenment, Buddhahood comes. Because you already cultivated mind enlightenment for Buddhahood, not for few years, for few weeks, few months, or few lives, not. Even not cultivated to the enlightenment of our heart. Here, the nirvana alone yourself. You want to cultivation to enlightenment of Buddhahood for benefit sentient beings. That is a cultivation bodhicitta, engagement bodhicitta. Very beautiful. So, but I think most of you have already bodhisattva vow, bodhicitta vow. But when we having received external Vinayana vow, internal bodhisattva vow, and then we need to training as much possible is with this motivation. I mentioned you this morning some questions. So if you have this kind of motivation, and then everything, your activities become virtue. Circulation, you see, sleeping is a virtue. And playing football is also a virtue. You see, eating is a virtue, sleeping is a virtue, toilet is a virtue. Everything is a virtue. There's no any, left something extra because your motivation. Every building house has become virtue. Make nest bed is a virtue because your heart is bodhicitta. So this is not your bed, that's Bodhisattva's bed, right? This is not your house, ordinary, this is for Bodhisattva's house. Means is for benefit sentient beings, right? You go and taking healthy yourself because that is for sentient benefit, healthy to sentient beings, isn't it? And directly you taking care of yourself, looks like, sound, but that means indirectly that could be condition benefit sentient beings, isn't it? So that is, you see, everything's become virtue. Sometimes Bodhisattva is more easy to practice, Mahayanas, everything's a virtue. If open mind, I mean, it's then very, it's a narrow mind is difficult, easily something happened, But the openness mind is the vast, extensive, the open mind, space like, and then everything's become virtue. But is or not, virtue or not is dependent motivation. All right. Okay, so today is here. And this this part is the common, the general, and then as the common external of the preliminary, internal of external, preliminary, and then maybe one words maybe left, internal, external, preliminary. And then the next stage is of the actual part of nine yanas, or of the especially tantric, common tantra, uncommon tantra, and special of the final great perfection of the great perfection. This part is the rest is left for tomorrow. So we leave here. Anybody, if you have any questions,
We're going to repeat question answers. Yes, please.
What you meant by the renunciation of samsara?
Say again?
Renunciation of samsara. What does that mean?
Renunciation, you say? Or renunciation? A renunciation. Anybody know renunciation means in English? Or you know, right?
Samsara.
Or means is, for example, have you renunciation to the hell realm? With the hungry ghost realm? Understand? Oh, okay. I mean, is would you have worry to the hungry ghost, hell realm suffering? Or unpleasant for you when you feel, when you hear talking about suffering?
Yes.
Right? So therefore you want to be avoid the suffering of a hell realm, hungry ghost realm. Example means this is the renunciation. So when you have, if we get sick, is a disease, something is a problem, and then you is worry about this, and you want to cure about this disease, you want to rehabilitate, if possible, from the doctor's advice, something, this motivation comes because you don't like this sick, this disease, is it? That means a renunciation. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, therefore, if you know the faults of samsara, then real renunciation arising. Means is if you don't know or you don't believe is the faults of samsara, this traditions talk, but not that much bad, samsara. That means you haven't yet renunciation, fully. I mean, make sense?
Yes.
So therefore, you doesn't care naturally. Like doctor first introduce to you, you have some problem, the disease. When you go to the check, check on the check on doctor, check on. So, but it doesn't mean the doctor he want to make you suffering, but he want to support to you. So, but first he must be introduced to us as you have some disease. Because if he doesn't introduce to your disease and then you doesn't listen, to him, there's no reason you want to be take care of medicine and to follow his advice because you have no renunciation with your disease, you are sick because you haven't the recognition. You say, I'm good, I'm healthy. Why I'm exercise? Why I'm practice? I'm take the pills. No, I don't want because I'm healthy. But if healthy truly, that perfect, excellent. But doctor, no, you are not healthy. Already they are the cancer, but you couldn't feel yet, So therefore I tell you the truth. And then you feel suddenly change your face, right? Right? That means renunciation. Make sense? From this sick, from this seal, this disease gave you the renunciation. But the moment is make you suffer, is it? Very painful. Maybe you angry to the doctor? No, I think not. Because doctor going to support to you, not harming to you. So doctor then is the second you want to ask, okay, because very sad, right? So, and is possible free from this disease? And doctor smiling, yes, don't worry. If you trust me, if you can afford, if you have diligence, if you have patience, if you listener, to my advice, I can guarantee you. That means treatment is coming. That is a path. So of Dharma is like that, So therefore, if there's no renunciation, and then you doesn't like listening from doctor, If renunciation, then if you have effort comes, patience comes, even pay the expenses to operate of the heart, you still can, facing about this because you had very strong renunciation, having the renunciation. Does it make sense? Yeah, renunciation is like that. All right. Okay, we're going to dedication prayer. Shirga nanchi parlo trukpa sab soli doan dorwa sho de da du so de wa gerza chenye samba go majur semche tamche la sanje anthobi jungo jamper pao chetar kemba da kundu sambo te devje Tedang kunji jisa dalo she gewa deda tamche ramde dusa shame jarwa tamche ji ngowa kala chode ngabandi Dage ge zawa de gon cha zambo shi rabde ngo je gon za dorje changche manche ni zhenshe sa lama yanche drove ton de mon lo kam da pa te da tham che da je andre par xie wa ya kun de yang de lama na dharme chu ni pe la long xue chang sa da lam je yon de ram zo ni Dorje changge khenpo anyertho shu. Okay, so that's today. Oh, thank you for everyone. Oh, yeah, thank you.